Please welcome David Krause, Principal Trumpet from the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra.
Good morning. Here begins something new. I'm Charles Kuralt, and this is Sunday Morning, a 90-minute CBS News program that starts right now.
I'm proud to tell you that my successor will be someone we all know and think the world of. Jane Pauley, congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Jane Pauley, and this is Sunday Morning. I'm wearing a mask and playing with a little robotic dog. Felines have fans too. I'm one, but enough about me. Dun, 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 dun. I have to tell you, my daughter, we're watching Sex and the City. When it was over, she looked at me and said, "Let's not do this again, Mom."
Mo Rocco, ladies and gentlemen.
So do you watch your movies with your kids?
No.
Each of these gowns was a perfect fit for the celebrity who wore it. A good romance novel is in order. Still pretty sexy.
God help me.
Might that have been a career ender for you?
Oh, gosh, yes. For anybody. I love it so much. Till now.
Hey, this is pretty fun.
This is exciting.
Tom Selleck in the cast of Blue Bloods.
You know, we're kind of busy.
I don't know, Lee. I'm just glad.
Bellissima. This is where it really happened.
I am not letting go.
Hey, Jane. Yeah.
Please join us when our trumpet sounds again next Sunday morning.
Welcome to An Evening with Sunday Morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Mo Rocca.
Thank you. Thank you. Woo. Well, thank you very much. Welcome all to Sunday Morning Live. It's so good to finally see what you look like. I mean, I gotta say, you're not exactly what I pictured. I always imagined you in your jammies with a hot cup of joe curled up with a tabby cat. But you clean up really good. You look terrific. So, you're welcome. You really do look great. Tonight is just like an episode of Sunday Morning, except it's all happening right in front of you live. Right. Which is why you might want to run for the exits before our moment of nature. Yeah. Seriously, it's the pumas of the Serengeti. They're just off stage. They'll kill you. By the way, how many of you love the moment of nature? Okay. And how many of you wish it were longer? Okay, this really is a Sunday morning audience. Well, then you'll be especially happy to know that in our midst is the anchor emeritus of Sunday Morning. Please give a hearty round of applause for the great Charles Osgood. Look at that. Soak it in, Charlie. Again. Charlie, you're the reason that we started 10 minutes late. You were creating a traffic jam. So there was a mob scene. And by the way, Charlie is exactly what you imagine. I mean, you get up every morning in the piano and play Gershwin. You get up every morning, seriously, and play Gershwin on a grand piano. Isn't that right? It's kind of amazing. I've been there to see it. He's the real thing. All right, now about this very historic theater. The Town Hall, which is its official name, was built in 1921 by the League for Political Education, which advocated for women's suffrage. And let's enjoy it while we still have it. And it was designed by the renowned architectural firm of McKim, Mead, and White to reflect the egalitarian principles of the League. To this end, box seats were not included in the theater's design, and every effort was made to ensure that there were no seats with an obstructed view. This very theater is the origin of the expression, "not a bad seat in the house." Right? This really is a Sunday morning audience. Stravinsky and Strauss played here. Billie Holiday sang here. Sacco and Vanzetti had their memorial here. Sorry, too soon? Okay. And thus concludes the live almanac portion of this evening. Now, I have to say, I have the best job in television. I really do. On no other show could I simultaneously be working on pieces about the Mississippi River, the history of Bellevue Hospital, and a profile of LeVar Burton. I mean, it is absolutely wonderful. However, there are a bunch of other people that believe that they have the best jobs in television. So how about we meet the correspondents and host of CBS Sunday Morning. Whether she's dishing the dirt with Madonna in Malawi, getting all woke with 103-year-old Herman Woke, or eating a chili dog with Chris Christie, she gets them to spill it. That's why Broadcasting and Cable Magazine dubbed her CBS's Secret Snatcher. Give it up for Tracy Smith. He's been called the Liam Neeson of Sunday morning. That's why audiences are so taken with him. It's early. Whether it's a one-on-one with Sharon Stone, an in-depth exploration of the Navajo Reservation water crisis, or flying kites in Iowa, he's all action all the time. Bring it, Lee Cowan! She's equal parts Mary Richards, Lauren Bacall, and Bob Woodward. When this trailblazing former White House reporter wants answers, she'll beat them out of you. Braver? More like bravest. Show some love to Rita Braver. We call her the Voice. Sometimes I like to call this next correspondent late at night just to hear her say words like Cézanne, soupçon, or tagine. And her writing, she can make a 9-minute piece on fudge more suspenseful than the Hurt Locker. Put your hands together till they hurt for Martha Teichner. He's the man behind the magic. This multiple award-winning executive producer of CBS Sunday Morning loses 6.5 pounds every Saturday night preparing this show for air. He's the Sheikh of Shaker Heights, Rand Morrison. Raised in the wilds of Indiana, this broadcasting legend was born on Halloween. And may I say, being around her is a real treat. Tom Brokaw, Brian Gumbel, Stone Phillips, you've had your time with her. Now she belongs to us. Her first name is actually Margaret, but you know her as the host of CBS Sunday Morning, Jane Pauley. There they are. All right, we're going to start with you, Rand. When are you going to run my piece on the Mississippi River?
It takes time, Mo. It takes
Okay,
time.
a question that I get from people all the time is the mix of the show, the variety of the show. How do you decide on it?
Think of Sunday morning as a nourishing breakfast. And so you've got your news course, you have your serving of art. Sometimes those art pieces are done by Serena Altschul, who is somewhere in this audience, but Lord knows where. You've got the Sunday profile. You have a dollop of humor. You've got a human interest story, often from Steve Hartman. And before you know it, it's time for nature.
All right, very good.
Oh, wait. There's one more thing. There's the story you'll only see on Sunday morning. And, for example, this past weekend, it was the story about balloon art done by Connor Knighton, who's also...
Right? Excellent.
What other network television broadcast does a story on balloon art? I asked you.
True. Absolutely. All right, Jane. Everywhere.
Ringtone.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's everyone's ringtone here, I bet.
As long as you have that ringtone, you're allowed to keep it on. Have people call.
All right, Jane, I've never asked you this. All those years before you came to Sunday Morning, when you were at a rival network.
The desert.
In the desert.
Decades in the
It took her 40 years of traipsing across the desert to get to us. What did you think of Sunday Morning? What was your impression of it? Were you a watcher of it?
It was graduate school. You kids were PhD students. You were the smart ones. You were not the likes of people like me. I really, truly believe that.
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating.
And
I'm from Indianapolis. So that's
And what has been the biggest surprise for you since you've been with us? Has it met your expectations?
The productivity of you all. You know I don't work as hard as you do. You really have 3 stories going simultaneously?
Right, I'm losing my mind. I'm going to be checked into Bellevue.
Rand, run the Mississippi piece.
I will. Don't rush me.
Okay, so Lee, this next question is for you. One of the joys I find, and I'm guessing you as well, is, we prepare a lot for our stories. We go out on the road, and what we're really doing, hopefully, is preparing for something unexpected. So can you tell us about an experience where you were excited for a shoot, but it ended up really exceeding what you thought would happen?
There was one story that we were doing Woody Harrelson, and we got invited to Maui, where he lives. Pretty good gig. Thank you, Rand. And we did the interview, and the interview was fine. And as we usually do, as you probably know, for our profiles, we always ask to spend a day with them and go and try and do something that they normally do during the course of their day. So I said, so Woody, what would you be doing on a day like this? He said, well, I'd probably be going to play cards with one of my buddies. I'm like, great, that'd be fine. Do you mind if we go along with you and take a shot of that? He goes, no, that's fine. Let me call him and see if it's okay. He calls. Comes back, he said, yep, meet me here at this address in about an hour. So we load all the gear in the car, and we were driving down this road, and it's this long driveway, dirt driveway, nothing particularly spectacular. And the front door opens, and out walks Willie Nelson. And behind him is Woody Harrelson. And Willie's like, come on in. So we go in, and there they are. They're playing cards, and we're shooting it. And it's fair to say they had probably one or both had a little bit of weed before we got there. But it was one of those experiences where I just looked at my producer. I'm like, can you freaking believe what is going on? I know, this is so crazy. But I think it's a testament to the show, though, that people like that who know the show are willing to let us in to see a moment like that because they know the show, we've got a track record, and it's like, that's what makes the show so special, I think, is people willing to give us little moments like that.
Right, that people trust us, which is, it's a great privilege. One of our terrific producers, and we have an amazing legion of producers on the show that have been around the show for a long time, Mary Lou Teal, was telling me when she worked with Charles Kuralt, and she said that Charles Kuralt would say, you know, it's okay to like the person that you're interviewing. You don't have to always remain sort of neutral if you really respect and admire the person. So I want to ask Rita if you've ever been able to interview a hero of yours, somebody that you just loved.
You know, I've had many opportunities to do that, but I think one of my favorite, and again, Rand, thank you for the assignment, was to interview the great American writer Philip Roth. And I have to tell you, I was a little nervous because he's kind of edgy, and we went out to his beautiful estate in Connecticut. And a lot of the good stuff, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but a lot of the good stuff happens when the cameras aren't rolling. And I had grabbed my high school copy of Portnoy, my college copy of Portnoy, off the shelf because I wanted him to autograph it. And let me tell you that when I was in college, I have to say, I did not know until I read this book about a lot of stuff. And I, in my excitement, had underlined it. So when I handed him the book, he started going through it and reading out loud parts that I had underlined, and he finally said to me, look, okay, you are really a dirty girl. And we got on great. The only other thing that I will say, if you haven't gone back and read some of his great novels, like American Pastoral, you should. He also said off camera, he let us know pretty much that he had really hoped to win the Nobel Prize, and I feel kind of bad for him that he never did. But what a great experience, and we do get paid to have fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this past weekend, Ted Koppel, who is doing pieces with us, profiled Ted Turner, a very moving piece, and yeah, really, and one of the things that was sort of remarkable about it is it really told the story of Ted Turner's life with tape that had been done by CBS, primarily 60 Minutes pieces. But on Sunday morning, we too get to revisit stories over and over. We've been around that long, and that's a very special experience. Tracy, do you have a story about a story that you've been able to revisit?
Yes. Starting back in 2003, we did a story about a little girl named Alex Scott who started a lemonade stand for kids with cancer. She had cancer herself, neuroblastoma. And Alex raised $1 million before she died in 2004. But the story doesn't end there. Her parents continued the Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, ended up raising something like $150 million for pediatric cancer research. And wait, it doesn't end. 2013, we met a little girl named Edie Gilger, who had the same cancer that Alex had. And Edie was really basically on her last legs. She'd done 14 rounds of chemotherapy. She'd had 4 surgeries. This tumor would go away, and then it would come back. Well, they gave her this drug. It was a clinical trial that she was in that made the cancer disappear. It disappeared. And the drug was funded largely by Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation.
Well,
great story. So essentially, a little girl saved another little girl's life. It was remarkable.
That's great. We may seem like we're very supportive of each other, but Sunday morning can be a snake pit. As we compete for stories. And if I had a time machine, I'd go back to a time when Martha Teichner got to do an amazing sit-down with a creative team. I'll let you finish the story, but I just want you to know I'm still seething with jealousy that you did this story.
Eat your heart out. Well, for Sunday morning, I did a profile of Stephen Sondheim. And many years before that, Stephen Sondheim had been part of one of the most exciting, but also one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. In 1980, Stephen Sondheim and Arthur Lawrence and Jerome Robbins and Leonard Bernstein mounted a new version of West Side Story that they tried out and worked up, got ready for Broadway in Miami Beach. And I was doing a story then with them, and the producer had arranged us all on a staircase so that Bernstein and Robbins were here and Lawrence and Sondheim were here. And I remember Stephen Sondheim had on one of those French striped sailor shirts. And I'm sitting on a bench or a little stool opposite these four guys. And for some reason, there was shag carpeting there. I don't remember exactly the details of why we were doing it there. And all of a sudden, I sneezed. Out came a contact. And these were hard contacts, the kind that each cost like $150. And they see what happens. And so instantly, all four of these titans of the musical theater are on their hands and knees with me, brushing the shag carpeting to make the contact pop up. And Stephen Sondheim found it. And gratefully, years later, when I did the profile of him for Sunday Morning, he didn't remember.
A multi-Tony Award-winning contact search. It's pretty amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The correspondents, the executive producer, and the host of CBS Sunday Morning.
Not long ago, in a cemetery outside Augusta, Georgia, a loving couple was buried. The wife buried below this white bouquet. The husband buried above, in a mound of grief.
Took me totally by surprise.
82-year-old Dan Peterson says after Mary died, he fell into a deep depression.
You had no purpose?
No.
Were you just waiting to die?
Yeah.
For 6 months, it was just that bad.
And then one day you go to a grocery store.
It all changed inside this Publix.
Dan was nearing the end of the canned vegetable aisle. He hates grocery shopping, and by all accounts, the expression on his face confirmed his aggravation. But that's when this unapproachable man was approached by a 4-year-old girl named Nora Wood.
In the security footage, you can see Nora randomly reaching out to him. Her mom, Tara, says it was quite embarrassing.
She said, "Hi, old person, it's my birthday today."
Yeah.
And then had the audacity to ask for a hug.
I said, "A hug?" I said, "Absolutely."
Nora got her hug and then asked her mom to take a picture of her with her new friend.
She just wanted to make him feel loved and give him a hug. And his little lip quivered, and it was just sweet.
And I said, "You don't know. This is the first time for quite a while that I've been as happy."
And his grin has only gotten wider since.
"Hi, sweetheart, come in, come in."
Today, Nora visits at least once a week.
"So how's my sweetie, huh?"
And every time, it's the grocery store all over again.
I knew I was going to get a hug.
By the way, Dan does have grandkids of his own, but they're grown and gone. And Nora does have grandparents, but her mom says this is a completely different kind of bond that almost defies explanation.
She fell asleep holding a picture of them. What?
To Dan, it's equally miraculous, but far less mysterious. He believes Nora is quite literally an angel.
She opened me to a love that I didn't know existed.
Do you feel like you have a purpose now?
Of course. Nora. I know I made room in my heart for a lot more.
Please welcome Steve Hartman.
I love you too. People always ask me, what's your favorite story? And I hate that question because it's like asking a parent, who's your favorite child? My mother liked me best. But anyway, when I'm pressed, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say the story of Nora and Dan, because it kind of sums up, symbolizes what I try to deliver every Sunday morning. It's a story about a seemingly insignificant event, a hug. It's centered on kindness, and it has a big emotional payoff. For that reason, I've sometimes been accused of being in cahoots with the Kleenex Corporation, but it's never been my intention to make people cry. I'm actually trying to make people happy, but sometimes the twain do meet. Happy tears. It's an oxymoron, and it's a wonder if you think about it. I once did a story on a little girl. She had a lovey, a little stuffed giraffe that she took everywhere, and she lost it. Family was moving. About a month later, they're unpacking the boxes, and they discover the stuffed giraffe. And they are going to surprise her, and they put it in the refrigerator so that when she went in and she pulled out her juice box, she would see the stuffed giraffe in there. So she goes, and of course the camera's rolling, and she opens the refrigerator, and her first reaction is, delight. But then her face goes slack, and she looks up at her mother, and she says, "Why are my eyes watering?" She had discovered what I think is one of the greatest emotions, not far behind love itself, overwhelming joy. And that's what I try to bring to Sunday morning every week. And I've got a small dose of that for you tonight. That story we just did with Nora and Dan, the most amazing thing about that story is that we shot it 2 years ago. It continues to this day. They still see each other all the time. In fact, their next visit is scheduled for about 5 seconds from right now. Mr. Dan Peterson, Nora Wood, and Nora's mom, Tara. I guess I'll start with you. Okay. Are you surprised this has gone on as long as it has?
No, I'm making it happen.
You're making it happen. You're doing all the driving. How close have they become?
I don't know. It's not a grandfather-granddaughter bond. It's just this friendship that defies the odds. You wouldn't think they'd have a lot to talk about, but they never stop talking.
You said there was a dance recital where she finishes and she runs off the stage, not into your arms, into his.
Yeah. After I'd done hair, makeup.
Yeah, do all the work, yeah.
Yeah, I was filming and she went this way and I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, she went straight to him. She just, she's still, it's magnetic and it's magical.
You have gotten a lot of response from this from around the world.
Yes.
What has that done for you?
Well, I can't tell. I'm terribly sorry.
They'll forgive you.
No, I still miss my wife, of course. And this always brings it forward. And of course, I always do this. I can't help it, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it wasn't quite as fast because it took a week. And this little twerp tells her mother, they didn't know me from Adam, didn't know who I was, didn't know my name, anything. We swapped names at Publix. And I said, happy birthday, and left. And about a week later, I got a phone call. And this lady on the phone said, are you the gentleman now, that talked to my daughter in Publix? Are you Mr. Dan? And I said, well, I guess so, yeah. And she said, well, is it okay if Nora comes over to see you? Because she thinks you need her.
And she was right.
And she was right.
I want to ask one question of Nora.
Right ever since.
Yeah? Will you promise me that you'll be this kind for your whole life? And you'll teach all the other kids to be kind at school too?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jon Batiste.
What do I need to know about Jon Batiste? You only say one thing about yourself. What is it?
Jon Batiste loves you and loves the music.
Everybody wanna try it. They want something, wanna buy it.
Can you just break out in song?
Yeah.
In the middle of the street?
You gotta do your thing. I like bringing people together. I can even do tongue twisters.
New Orleans!
Do you worry you might lose that authentic voice in the realm of fame, the fortune?
No.
Because?
Because I'm me.
Jon Batiste, come on, stay human.
Please welcome back Tracy Smith.
So, our next guest tonight is an award-winning musician who tours regularly with his band Stay Human. He just released his new album, Hollywood Africans. He's hard at work on a new Broadway show, and he can be seen every night on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Please give it up once again for Jon Batiste.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, want to take a seat?
Hey! Yeah.
Oh, you are a busy man.
That's right.
So how do you go about making an album when you also have to do the show every night?
So this album actually started in 2013. And I have several albums in my archive, so to speak, that are 75%, 80% there, some, that I save for the right time, some that are just ideas that I explore that I never intend for people to hear, ever.
Ever.
But just to get me to the next idea. But this actually started in 2013. I was at Bono's house from U2.
I was at Bono's house.
The only Bono that we know. And he was having a party where there's music that is behind the curtain, and the curtain opens, and the person is a guest of the party. And he doesn't know who that person is, but their gift is a song to him, and they join him at this long table.
Oh, that's lovely.
So Pharrell Williams played, Herbie Hancock played, Beck played, I played, and when I sat down, T-Bone Burnett was sitting next to me. And T-Bone Burnett and I first met at this party, and we started talking, and we spent about 2 years doing different collaborations here and there until about 2015 when we went to New Orleans and we found an old church that was just converted into a studio, and we set it up with a piano right in the middle for 3 days. And the 3 days were us recording this music kind of just with the lights off. We couldn't even see each other half the time.
Oh my goodness, in the dark.
Yeah, just in the dark. And I was really just trying to get back to the basics, just the piano and the voice, and a very raw, everything is one take, maybe 2 takes at the most. And, no auto-tune, none of that stuff. Just like performing raw, real music. And fast forward to the present, a lot of things changed from 2015 till now.
Yeah.
And I went back because the story was emerging from those sessions that I felt like as an artist, you always think, is it the right time to share this with people? And I think right now is the time where we need to really get back to the basics in terms of meditation that doesn't result in despair, but results in hope. So I was thinking about music that could give us space to reflect and feel the full range of our humanity and not think about the divisiveness that we're facing, but more just kind of a reprieve to cope with what's going on so that you can come back into it fully human.
Beautiful. Steve Hartman just mentioned the whole tears of joy idea and listening to the album. I told you it brought tears to my eyes, and it was that joyful feeling. So
thank you.
I get that.
I felt very open playing the music. I was very vulnerable, and it's something that I think has helped me to grow and be a better friend, be a better person. Just to kind of make music like that transforms you. So I'm glad that it's having that kind of impact when people hear it. It's been 2 days, but just the people's response and the things that I've been hearing is overwhelming.
Now, there's a song on the album that is based on the song from a video game.
That's right.
And Jon was inspired, a lot of you might not know this, but Jon was inspired to write music growing up because, in part, of video games.
Yeah.
So our video...
Something like that.
Something like that, right?
I was inspired by video game soundtracks. Your subconscious mind is incredible because at 8 or 9 years old, you're sitting in front of the TV playing these games and the music is coming into your mind. And, I'm a composer by profession. I'm a musician. So all the music in the game that was seeping into my subconscious has influenced the way that I approach composition and music and being a band lead and all these things. So that sound is important to my development, but I didn't realize it until after the fact.
But would you say, for parents out there, are video games good for kids?
I don't think that happens to everybody who plays video games. My nephew plays video games. He's 9, and I have another nephew who's 3. And video games these days, there's like a whole nother level. Like they watch people play the game.
Yeah, it's a little
on YouTube. That's amazing to me.
I want to talk about, I mentioned that you're doing a Broadway show. You're writing the music and lyrics for a show based on Jean-Michel Basquiat's life.
Yes.
And Hollywood Africans, the title of your album, is based on a work by Basquiat.
Yes.
So how does he inspire you?
Wow. So he's a very inspiring figure for me as an African-American artist coming to New York. I came here when I was 17 to go to Juilliard and try to really break into the scene and create something great, be great. And he did that. Similarly to his approach to creativity was filtering all of this different information, whether it was current events, whether it was poetry, whether it was anatomy. He would filter all of these different things, music, into his work. And I really admire that. But mostly, he's someone who spoke to what was going on at the time. And he spoke to it in a way that was very fresh and nuanced. So I was thinking about a Broadway musical. I got to know his family, and the estate really has given me a chance to, over the last year, study a lot of his work and see things that the public hasn't seen. And I'm just blown away by his notebooks, by the range of creativity that he had that people don't even know about. And I was inspired not only to name the album after something that he made in 1983 entitled Hollywood Africans, but a musical is something that also is on the horizon. So I would look out for that and really, mark your calendars. We about
when?
I don't want to tell you.
You knew I was
whenever I
gonna put you on the
finish,
spot.
whenever I'm done writing.
All right, good answer. Well, the album is out now, and
Yes.
will you play us a song, please?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I'll step out of the way. You head over there, ladies and gentlemen. Jon Batiste.
So this song is something that I wrote about continuing to believe in the higher ideals of humanity. When it comes to loving me, don't stop. I know there ain't no guarantee, but don't stop. Let's keep it shaking while we can. You don't need another man. We'll keep rolling with the plan. Don't stop. When it's near to closing time, don't stop. Put your hand in mine, don't stop. We'll dance the night away. Won't care what people say. No pause, press play, don't stop. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing. 'Cause you know that our time is coming up. So with all you've got, don't stop. There's a reason that you're here. Don't stop. You ain't got nothing to fear, so don't stop. This train has left the station. Who knows what destination? This love is for the taking. Don't stop. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing. 'Cause you know that our time is coming up. Let's soak up the day and dance the night away. So with all you've got, don't stop. So with all you've got, don't stop.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
When David Brown founded a community choir in Columbus, Ohio, 9 years ago, he had one rule. Nobody would have to audition, ever.
She's the closest, but tenor, she's still not there, all right?
But, well, practice makes perfect.
It's one thing to sing and to carry the tune and sing, and then to sing like I saw them singing. How do you get them to do that?
It's the combination of folks with a church background. When I say church, I don't mean church, I mean church. They come in knowing how to sing. They come in not afraid of what...
Even the Presbyterians?
Well, that's not this kind of church. That's this kind of church. And just for the record, both are fine, okay?
Today, the Harmony Project, as it's known, boasts 500 choir members and a wait list of 300 from all over Columbus.
Yeah, music may have gotten us in the door, but music is not necessarily what keeps us here. And it has really opened up opportunities for us to get to know each other. I think we're a lot more alike than we realize. You know, you got a ward sitting next to a CEO. And
it's like a joke, a rabbi, a ward, and a CEO.
It's no joke. Ronnie Burks is a prison warden.
Looking good.
Tom Krause is the CEO of Donato's Pizza. And Sharon Mars is a rabbi. And that's the whole point of the Harmony Project. In its diversity, a community can find harmony.
To me, this choir is a snapshot of the greater Columbus community. This isn't us trying to show the world how it should be. This is us showing the world how we are.
Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine.
Would you please welcome David Brown from the Harmony Project.
Well, I marched through the storm, and I marched through the rain, and I marched through some sickness and some heartache and pain, and I laid on the ground, and I looked up at the sky, and I prayed to the Lord up above and asked why. But oh no, I'm not tired, I'm not through marching yet, and I'm marching till I die. Oh children, this you can bet. So we say, I'm gonna sing out, I'm gonna march on, and everybody say,
I'm gonna sing out.
Gonna march on, yeah.
Gonna march on.
Gonna put one foot in front of the other foot, yes I am.
I'm gonna sing out.
Gonna march on, yeah.
I'm gonna march on.
I got to keep on going, yeah.
I'm gonna sing out.
Gonna march on.
I'm gonna march on.
Well, my grandmama marched, and my granddaddy too. And I never thought it'd be something that I'd have to do. But I'll march if I must. I got a mission, you see, and I'll be damned if my children have to march for me. Now I believe in the power of raising my voice, and I believe in the power of making some noise. Now if I die, I can sing, and if I can't sing, I die. So we can sing for one another. Now let's give it a try. So we say, I'm gonna march on. Sing it if you believe it. Oh, gonna march on. Oh, gonna use my body for good, yeah. Whoa, gonna march on. Whoa, I got to keep on keeping on, keep on marching on, yeah. Whoa, one more time, say I'm, whoa, gonna sing out and I'm gonna march on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Brown, the Harmony Project, and thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to all of you for spending a special evening with Sunday Morning. Would you please join us when our trumpet sounds again next Sunday morning? We leave you this Monday evening with a look at autumn leaves in the Catskills.